Welcome back to Part 2 of our series on Rasputin the Warmind. Part 1 of this series covered Rasputin's existence up to his conflict with the Iron Lords, and with this video we have now entered the main events of the Destiny series, beginning with our Guardian's resurrection at the beginning of the first game. From here on out, Rasputin's story becomes part of our story. But if you're looking for a full, coherent synopsis of the main storyline, this isn't it. Maybe one day I'll get around to that, but for now we're just focusing on Rasputin. That being said, there's still a lot of ground to cover, so let's begin. Also, I'm recording this after the release of Lightfall, meaning the Rasputin content is no longer available, so I'll have footage from generic strikes in the background. After everything we've learned about Rasputin so far, you may be asking yourself, is Rasputin evil? He is, after all, a highly advanced AI of questionable morality and noted violent tendencies, arguably somewhat responsible even for the collapse of humanity. The Skynet comparisons come pretty easily. Even just given Bungie's track record with AIs, you wouldn't necessarily be wrong in thinking that. And indeed, by the time our Guardian enters the scene, Rasputin is known to be dangerous and antisocial. For years, the Vanguard, the acting leadership of the Guardians, has attempted to contact the Warmind or otherwise infiltrate his remaining facilities in an attempt to access his advanced technology. They have not been successful, and Rasputin maintains his secrecy. However, after a communications array on Earth is reactivated by the Guardians, Rasputin is able to reconnect with his old interplanetary defense network. He resumes control of his warsats and ground installations across the system, and immediately gets to work launching orbital strikes against the enemies of humanity, such as the Vex and Cabal on Mars. Despite their assistance, Rasputin largely ignores the Guardians, still unsure of them after his dealings with the Iron Lords. But Rasputin's reemergence quickly draws the attention of Earth's enemies. He repeatedly finds his facilities under siege by the Hive and Fallen alike, both seeking to either destroy or take control of them. These attacks are fended off with help from the Guardians, and eventually Rasputin concedes that his defenses are not enough. He activates the Ikelos subroutine, providing the Guardians with advanced weaponry, Golden Age designs merged with contemporary technology. The seeds of an alliance with the Warmind are planted, but there are those who still distrust and fear him. It should be mentioned that the nanotechnology Siva is once again encountered during this time, though Rasputin is not really involved. This threat is once and for all dealt with by the Guardians and Saladin, one of the last Iron Lords. We now enter the events of Destiny 2, and it's here that things really begin to pick up. Following the events of the Red War at the beginning of the game, the Traveler momentarily reawakens and releases a wave of energy, triggering a number of changes across the solar system. One of these changes is the thawing of Mars, previously frozen by Rasputin to protect his core facilities from an invading Hive army. The reawakened Hive lay siege to Hellas Basin, led by Nokris, a Hive prince, and Zol, one of their enormous worm gods. Rasputin is outmatched, but receives help from an unexpected source. Anastasia Bray, his creator's granddaughter, now reborn as the Guardian Anna. While all Guardians are reborn without memories of their past lives, Anna found herself in the unique situation of still having her Bray Corporation ID upon resurrection. She came to Mars seeking information about her past, but stumbled upon the Hive invasion instead. Rasputin relents and allows Anna to request further assistance from the Vanguard. Wielding the Warmind's advanced weaponry once more, the player's Guardian beats back the invaders and kills Zol, a massive blow for the Hive. With the abatement of the Hive threat, Rasputin finally permits Anna Bray, Commander Zavala of the Vanguard, and the player Guardian to enter his core and gain an audience with him.
The Bray family shaped me to be an all-seeing savior, while your vanguard sought to wield me as a primitive weapon. But today, that ends. And I define the reality of my own existence. My sight will stretch to the edge of this system and beyond. Never again will a threat go unseen. From this day forward, I will defend humanity on my own terms. I am Rasputin, guardian of all I survey. I have no equal.
What have we done?
Don't worry. We've got this.
Despite this slightly ominous announcement, Anna remains at the facility to continue researching the Bray legacy, while also renewing her connection with Rasputin. Sometime later, the warlock Osiris confronts Rasputin over his genocidal actions during the collapse, and the annihilation of the Iron Lords. Using a Vex predictive technology, Osiris has foreseen the return of the darkness, and demands that Rasputin pick a side this time or be considered an enemy. Rasputin obliges, offering coordinates of an anomaly at the edge of the solar system for Osiris to investigate. This ends up being the first hint of the Dark Fleet. However, the threat of the darkness is temporarily superseded by a more immediate one. After the Red War, the Cabal superweapon known as the Almighty had been left harmlessly orbiting the Sun, but remnants of the Red Legion are able to recapture it, and although its main weapon is no longer operational, they have one last gambit in mind: set the massive ship on a collision course for the last city. The Vanguard now turns to Rasputin in a reversal of their usual relationship. Only by reactivating and rebuilding Rasputin's arsenal can they hope to destroy the Almighty before its fatal impact. During this operation, Rasputin reveals much of his past to Anna and the Guardians, such as his relationship to Fellwinter and his history with the Iron Lords. When questioned if he might repeat his actions from the collapse, Rasputin reveals just how close the Dark Fleet is, and expresses an eagerness to defeat them this time around. Rasputin has finally chosen a side, and he is fully committed to working with the Guardians. With the Almighty visible in the sky over the last city, Rasputin unleashes his full power and obliterates the ship, with only harmless rubble landing outside the city limits, except for that one piece that almost took Zavala's head off. It seems that victory against the darkness is assured with the newfound alliance between Rasputin and the Vanguard. The Dark Fleet of pyramid ships enters the solar system soon after, alarmingly able to evade Rasputin's notice. While the main fleet waits out of reach, individual pyramids head for key targets in the system. Rasputin attempts a preemptive strike against the pyramid, hovering over Jupiter's moon Io. Rasputin fires, and Nothing. Nothing happens. The attack seemingly ceases to exist as it reaches the massive pyramid. In retaliation, the pyramid somehow disables Rasputin, seemingly destroying him outright. After a slew of successes in their battle against the forces of the darkness, humanity is immediately brought low upon direct confrontation. Without the Warmind's defenses to help them, the Vanguard gives the order to evacuate the 4 planets threatened by the pyramids: Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, and Mercury. Anna discovers that a fragment of Rasputin survives, having separated itself at the last moment before the pyramids attack. Anna secures this fragment in an engram and evacuates Mars. It is unknown just how much of Rasputin survives, and his integrity is in doubt.